Today is Monday, November 20th, 2023. I think it's 20th, right? It's a Monday. It's almost Tuesday now. I've stopped reading English material for several days because I was lazy and I was busy at the same time. So I need to work on my habit over time. There's a saying that if you can persist on 20 more than 21 days of any habit, then the habit will become you. So of course I've done that many times, but I was busy and lazy, and I was not motivated enough. But from now on, I will be more motivated, and I will try to do what I can do, right? Recently, my company, KT, Korea Telecom, the number one carrier in Korea, he announced that AI should be integrated or present in everyday work we do. So, regardless of your job specifications, your duties, we as a KT employee have to think about how we could incorporate AI or machine learning, like RPA, robotic process automation, to increase our productivity and to enhance our values to customers and win over other competitors. So let's find out about some basic terms that we might encounter when we learn machine language such as Python, C++ Basic, Visual Basic, RPA, HTML, or some other libraries like Matplot library, pandas, or rats, cats, dogs, whatever programs you are handling, whatever libraries you are trying to use. Is the library API, or API is just plugin, or it's just a set of some dangerous codings? What is coding in the first place? So let's delve into these randomly chosen by me and see what kind of language we can learn from this article. So we are trying to learn something from this very good article, great article, and also I am trying to learn English or practice English by reading it loud. Since I'm Korean, I'm not a native speaker, and English is my second language, and Chinese is my third language. Right, so let's delve in for dual-pronged approach. This article is from paulhammond.com, and it was written 5 years ago, 2018. Paul Hammond's blog on ontology, right? Ontology, the terms, right? Ontology. Component versus class versus object versus service versus application versus process versus library versus etc. We compare things, terms, oncology, ontology. Oncology is a study of cancer. Ontology is a study of terms, terminology. Trying to write something that covers a few computing topics. Yeah, I get confused now. Ontology, right, is the etymology is the study of the roots of words. Ontology, right? Ontology. A metaphysical branch of study which is concerned with existence and the nature of the being, 존재론, right? Metaphysical branch, 철학, of study which is concerned with existence and the nature of being. In metaphysics, ontology is the philosophical study of being. It investigates what types of entities exist, how they are grouped into categories, how they are related to one another on the most fundamental level. Ontologists often try to determine what the categories or highest kinds are and how they form a system of categories that encompasses the classification of all entities. 종속 과목계, whatever it is, like a form, family, tree, ontology, right? Ontology. Trying to write something that covers a few computing topics but remains short and copy and pastable. If for nobody else, then I will use it client work going forwards, subject to community corrections. Please email me. Process appears in PS Linux, Activity Monitor, Mac, Task Explorer Win. A process is running manifestation software from an operating system's point of view. Processes consume CPU and RAM. Processes can facilitate leveraging of networks via host OS. The same is true for file systems. The operating system itself may have its own processes, but most often humans think about the process that is the result of software installation on top of the base OS. Processes are instantiated code, which may include libraries and frameworks. Library, an eminently linkable thing, does not in itself have life or is capable of life without anything else involved. It will not therefore appear in PS, etc. Libraries may be used by multiple services or applications or plugins as dependencies. Frameworks are like libraries in that they can be depended on into an application or services. However, they come with an I am in charge factor. At the very least, an opinionated API. Typically, that might mean that the depending application or service has to implement a number of programmatic concepts and the control of execution of your software that depends on the framework is orchestrated by the framework. Mere libraries do not have that aspect. Like libraries, though, frameworks on their own do not have life connotation. Class. A subset of modern languages have object orientation capability, OO. Notably Java, C#, Ruby, Python. They are compiled from source. Classes can be used by other classes in a way that is superficially similar to linking. Like libraries and frameworks, there is no clear life to a class on its own. Read more about OO here. Definitions for OO. Object-oriented programming, OOP applies. Also, object-oriented design, OOD. Object. Classes that are instantiated in a context, say a GVM, are objects. As the definitions for OO above says, there can be a hierarchy of specialization and more. There's an implicit life for an object, unlike a class on its own. Objects in most languages can also be interrogated to determine what class it is an instance of. Metaprogramming is nearly always a possibility. Service has connotations of remoteness, marshalling, /serialization, and accepting of connections over TCP/IP. Services are conventional running processes. Because of the TCP/IP aspect, they facilitate heterogeneous computing. The 8 fallacies of distributed computing apply to them. They may consume other services. Microservices differ only in that they have fewer lines of code, a smaller focus, and some other rules. Again, conventionally, services have TCP/IP addresses which they listen to a port on. Their consumers may have come indirectly, load balancers, firewalls, etc., so may know them to be on a different TCP/IP address/port.